Good afternoon. This is the video newsletter for Buy Sell Short for Saturday, April 9th. Decently volatile session on Friday. We had a 130-point intraday move on the Dow. We did open up higher slightly, and then it was essentially a slow bleed, and we had, two real news stories out there pushing the market around on Friday. Of course, we had the government shutdown, which has been averted. Good news for stocks come Monday. And, the bigger issue, which is oil prices, which continued their insane move higher, up at $112 now. But even with all those issues we have out there, the Dow 15-minute chart, as you can see, we are still able to hold within that rectangle formation, which, as I mentioned in the Thursday video, is a bullish formation and more times than not breaks nicely to the upside. The breakout level is 12,450. We did have a nice late day move on Friday after the initial sell-off. We're about to break that downtrend line on RSI. We are looking at a positive MACD cross probably early Monday morning, and we have stochastics on the 15-minute chart breaking up through 50. So all these things, plus the fact that we have the government shutdown was avoided, could set the stage for a nice little move in the market on Monday. The daily chart doesn't look as pretty. However, we've been consolidating over the last week, essentially above that 12,300 level. And, let's scroll down and check out stochastics. This is actually what we saw for the last 4 months, essentially, before that big sell-off. Stochastics, just trading between the 75 and 85 level for 4 months. So, this is exactly what we want to see on the market. And, we really want to see the Dow starting to go back and do what it did throughout that period. Just slow, boring moves up and down every single day. And that sets the small and mid-cap stocks up, which is where we play. And speaking of the small caps, here is the Russell 2000. We are going back 4 years, and this week we had a multi-year breakout on the Russell 2000. We broke through that 2007 top at 856 this week. Very, very bullish. We have given back some of those gains over the last 2 days, but we got a little bit strayed or extended from the 20-day exponential, so it's a little pullback before we continue our move higher. And now that we've got a couple of those issues resolved, all we really need now is the price of oil to start falling. And actually, let's look at the oil. We hit my 110 target, but now we are in the danger zone for the economy. The move we've seen over the last week or two on oil, while they say the reason is the crisis in the Middle East, they said the exact same crap back when it happened in 2008 or 2007 into 2008, and later on we ended up finding out was that the Wall Street sharks found a couple of big shorts in the market and buried them. And what I'm thinking is happening right now, just based on the action. There's probably a couple of hedge funds right now that have been short oil that are getting blown up right now, and that is what we're seeing in oil. We really need a pullback in oil very, very soon. But, we're in a couple of oil plays. They've been really, really sleeping over the last $5 move in oil. So let's see if Monday they can wake up. SMH keeps trying to break out every single day, over the last 4 days. Each day gets a little bit higher and then pulls back. Very, very frustrating. If you're jumping in on a scalp on those breaks, you end up stopping out. So what are we going to set as our trigger now? I'd rather sit back, watch it break out, and play the other sectors. 35.50 is probably where, it gets a break of that. We see the 36 level. But aside from that, we're just going to continue to play the small caps. OPWV, an old favorite of ours. Over the last couple of weeks, it has been coiling for a breakout at the 220 level, which is why we sent the alert out to jump in on Friday. I would have preferred to have waited till Monday to actually play this stock, but it was just setting up so well on Friday. Just decided it was time to jump in, and we got a fat little pop on this one to 233. intraday high, 5% move, not bad at all. And as you can see, that 234 level was a previous resistance for the stock. But we've got RSI in a nice uptrend. We had a nice volume breakout on Friday. Stochastics look great. On bounce, volume looks good. And, this is a stock I think is woefully undervalued. They got $113 million in cash per the February earnings report. Trading not very much above that, and especially given its revenue run rate and, some of the deals they've signed this year. The right sector, the right time, internet traffic management and, wireless. Perfect sector right now. Target on this one, we've got some spike resistance up there at the 245, 248 area. And, if you look at all the time frames on this chart, weekly, monthly, setting up for a very, very big move, I think, over the next several weeks. So, nice little play on this one. Would be looking to add any dips, 223 and under, stops, 215, which is the 20-day exponential, and it should be a very, very good week for OPWV this week. ALVR, another play we've played back previously, likes to run with OPWV. Volume is really falling off the radar here. Breakout is the 50-day moving average, and that is at 191. We've been seeing a lot of stocks, when they get to their 50-day moving average like this and breakout, go on big runs. And we've got the 200-day moving average up there at 215. So a nice 10% upside mover here with minimal downside risk. Stops at $1.80. Won't take much volume to set this one free. And, like OPWV, they've got a crap load of cash, some nice sales in the wireless market. Stochastics, I love seeing Stochastics come down from the 80 level, dip slightly under the 50 level, or bounce at the 50 level, and then go back up through it. Love setups like this, and usually, more times than not, we see a very nice move on play setups like this. So it could be a very nice early week move for ALVR. Mad Cats, it's held up really, really well over the last couple of days. We have this rectangle formation similar to what we see on the Dow 15-minute chart. Breakout is 240, support is 211. Considering that its peers have pulled back quite a bit over the last 3 days and that MCZ has essentially held up really, really well here, I'm thinking we've got some possible positive news coming. Maybe it comes this week. But this next break at 240 should finally give us that run that we're looking for to the $3 level. IKAN, surprisingly strong since we jumped into this one a couple of days ago. It is fighting with its 50-day moving average. And really, like a lot of stocks, the only thing this one is lacking for a big move near term is volume. So keep a very close eye on this one. If we get a volume confirmation of 1 million shares plus, it's off to the races on this stock. I mean, look at the last week, up every single day. RSI's peaked up above 50. We've got a strong MACD. Stochastics is slowly starting to move higher and could be a very nice mover for us this week. 125 will probably set this beast free. DYAX. I've been essentially pounding the table on this stock in the chat room all week, saying this stock is set up for a big move. We started the week at $1.51. We ended the week at $1.79. 28, almost a 20% move this week, and I think it's got a lot more upside. And the lesson on this one, other than the one we played before, that it was going to at least bounce back to its 20-day exponential, is when it comes to biotech stocks, especially bios over $1, when the insiders are buying, pay attention. I believe it was 100,000 shares or so insiders have picked up on DYAX over the last month or so. On a biotech stock down like this, with insiders buying down here, almost always is a very positive sign. And look at the volume just continue to increase daily. We got to break through the 50-day moving average. We're right at our first target of $1.80. Next target, 2 to 215, and let's see if we can get it this week. Remember, a lot of these biotech stocks, when they start moving like this, look what HNSN has done. They just go vertical, and the volume continues to build. So it could be a very nice week for us on DYAX. Scalp ads, if it dipped back to the 170 area, the 50-day moving average, I might consider picking up an additional scalp position on this one with stops at the 165 level. Oil plays, as we mentioned, really sleeping over the last couple of days. We have had some random oil breakout plays, but for the most part, they've all been asleep. There's a big oil conference on Monday. GMET is presenting at it. These guys, they're profitable. They make money. They got lots of sales. That's probably why it's not going up, and turds like CFW are. But that's a whole nother story. GMET, we've got nice support at the 50-day moving average. Breakout is $1.70. RSI back to 50. And, time to, shit or get off the pot, as they say. Going to give this one Monday to break out. I think it's going to go. Maybe we'll get some news at that conference to help in the move. DEJ, this is our small little penny oil speculation play. Looks a lot better here than it did on the Popper scan chart. Really lacks volume. We need to see volume. 5 million shares is what will set this one free, and it'll probably start coming in on a break of 46 cents. So that is one of our little penny risk plays going into this week. RAME, if we finally see all the oil stocks start to move, RAME definitely overdue for a move similar to what we saw here back in early March. A break of 220, 222, and we will easily see a move to the 240, 250 area. Chart is ready. We need an excuse. We've got strong support at the 201 area, which is a 20-day exponential. 10-cent downside risk, possible 40 cents upside potential. Good risk reward. Good to have an oil play until oil starts to sell off. If oil starts to sell off, then we can reevaluate the positions we have in these oil plays. IPAS, this is one of our gem medium to long-term plays. Tough week for IPAS, but, if you're a scalper, it's given some very nice intraday moves, 5, 10-cent moves daily. We've got rock-solid support at 142. Definitely for medium and long-term accounts, I would be looking to pick this one up, $1.50 and under. We are still waiting for that breakout that will come. If indeed the market does break out to new highs over the next month, this is definitely a stock that will participate, in my opinion. INO, every time we play this stock, it is a frustrating, annoying friggin' stock, which is why I refuse to get stopped out of it this week. I'm putting my stops at $1.08. The last time we played this one, back in December, it annoyed us. We stopped out for minimal losses, and then the damn thing ran at 50%. So I'm going to give it a little bit of rope this week. 120 is the breakout on it. If you're not in this stock, you can pick some up now. You got 6 cents downside risk, or you can wait for a breakthrough at $1.20, which is probably what will light this one up. RSI has been doing pretty decent, and, a lot of shaking on this one. MX Bios can be frustrating stocks, but when they go, they go. BNX, a trade we totally messed up on when the Egypt crisis hit. We should have stopped out of this one. We fell in love with the stock. We're paying for it now. Last few days just continues to go down on lower and lower volume. And right now, all I'm waiting for is to see it bottom, to double up and bring the average down. They gave excellent guidance for this quarter. They're going to be profitable by $800K, and this stock is trading at a $5 million market cap. Ridiculous. But at this stage, not going to fight the trend. Waiting for it possibly to do something like it did back in November and December before it ended up doubling. So, we're going to get our money back on this one. Trade a little bit better. We've got the 20-day up at 25 cents. So, getting very close to a possible bottom action in this one. I'm sure a lot of traders are flushing out of it right now, but I'm looking for an opportunity to average down, and then when it does do what it did last year, we have a pretty good chance of getting all our money back plus some. NEI, all its peers in the storage sector on big moves over the last few days, and volume has just gone MIA on network engines. Love this stock for the medium to long term. We've got a nice little triangle forming here. 205 to 210 is the breakout area. We've got rock solid support. What could possibly happen here is what we saw happen back in January. See, back in January, we had a sell-off. RSI got right down below 50. Traders got very frustrated, and then it went boom. Let's look at the corresponding spike in the stock. Went to that 220 area, pulled back, everyone threw in the towel, and then boom, up she went again. So this is what might be coiling on this one. This is the hottest sector to be in this year. Everybody and their mom is moving into cloud storage. There's going to be nothing but increased demand for cloud storage. And, you know, EMC continues to do very well, get upgrades left and right. NEI gets 56% of the revenues from it. Just a matter of patience on NEI, in my opinion. That's why it continues to be a medium to long-term gem. So that's it for the video going into this week. We've got a lot of nice setups. Again, if you've got any questions on any plays, shoot me an email or just hit me up in the chat room. And I'll see you guys in the chat room on Monday. Goodbye.